Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's it? This is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with this inspirational morning talk. For first time listeners, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:45 a.m. Um, just to give you something a little inspirational to get you through the day, because during the day we can come against so much of negativity. We just need something positive to start the day off with, or even end it off for the people who come home and would listen to this at the end of the day or anytime. Me something to feed us with something positive. All right. So, man, today's a cold one here for us. So we down in the 30s, just like about 36 degrees here right now in Houston. I hope you guys having great weather. But today I want to look at this spiritual principle. This spiritual principle here today. I like, give people principles and show them how things can work. Because when you understand the principle and how things can work, you get a better understanding of what you're dealing with and, how to navigate certain things, right? We look at this spiritual principle here, how God can magnify you, how God can magnify you. Very important, listening to his word. You're practicing these laws and you can be magnified. You might say, Gregory, what do you mean? Oh, God can magnify me, right? Let's look at this little story here, then we can talk about it. All right. In Joshua 4, we're gonna look at Joshua 4, 13 and 14. Joshua 4, 13 and 14. So after Moses was off the scene, Moses died, and Joshua took over and had to lead the people to the promised land. So people know, the whole Israelite community know Joshua was Moses' aide, right? He was just there working along with Moses' aide. So now that Joshua got to lead them, he know in people's hearts and minds, what's going on. They not have the same level of respect for Joshua than they had for Moses, right? And it's very important that they respect Joshua the same way they respect Moses, because if they don't respect the leader, it's going to be a lot of pushback and fight, and they're not going to accomplish the goal of getting to the promised land. So God know this. So he said, okay, this is what I got to do. I got to step in here and do something. So let's see what he did. So this is Joshua 4, and I read 13 and 14, just 13 and 14. I'll bring out this principle that I'm trying to talk about. So about 40,000 prepared for war passed over before the Lord onto battle to the plains of Jericho. So this is the first battle they're going to as Joshua's the leader. I think this was the first battle, right? So about 40,000 of them crossed over into this battle into the plains of Jericho. On that day, the Lord magnified Joshua in the sight of Israel. He magnified Joshua in the sight of Israel, and they feared him as they had feared Moses all the days of his life. So he says on that day, when the crossover, you probably see the soldiers in their heart, how they're like, I'm not sure if Joshua can do this. They're probably expressing doubt in Joshua's ability to lead them. And God magnified Joshua in the sight, and they respect him, they feared him, as the same way how they fear Moses all the rest of the days of his life, right? So what magnify mean? Let's look at the word magnify. Make something appear larger than it is, especially with a lens or a microscope. If you look at something small, right, and you put it under a microscope, the microscope magnify it and it appear larger than its original size. It appears bigger than its original size because those lenses from the microscope magnify it, right? So what God did for Joshua this day, he make him appear the same Joshua, same Moses did. Nothing physically has changed, but he just magnified him. He caused people, the warriors, to see him bigger and more courageous and everything, so they could have their respect for him, right? So God magnify him. So you might want to add this to your prayer, the spiritual principle to your prayer. God, you could magnify me in the eyes of this interview I'm going to, or the people that I'm leading, or my kids, or whoever. You could pray and ask him to magnify you in front of the people, whoever it is. But on the flip side, what I want to say, because this is a principle, the enemy can use this, and you can have, you see, God used this for good. The enemy can always use it for the flip side, for negativity. Now he can use the same principle here to put the spirit of rejection on you. So instead of you look big and appear bigger and people seeing in you all these great things, it can cause people to see less of you and think of you less and look at you less than you are. Next thing you know, you got the most qualifications and everything, and people passing you over for promotions. You are the best of the team, and the coaches is not seeing you like that. They're seeing you as less. So the enemy can use this same principle here to put a spiritual rejection in you and cause you to be seen less than you are. So once you understand these principles, you see these things happening, guys, you need to know how to get into prayer, because it's not nothing physically you need. You got all the physical attributes, but yet still people seeing you're less. Or in the case where you God magnify you, you same physical everything what you got, and people can see you as bigger than you are and as more than the way how God wants them to see you, guys. So I just want to drop this little spiritual principle here today, that God could magnify you in the eyes of the people, whoever you want to magnify you in. But it all starts from you sticking with the word, staying with the word, staying with him, following his laws, and he can magnify you. So next time you go for the big promotion, the big job, whatever it is, he can magnify you in front of the interviewer or your staff that you got to lead, that you're having so much trouble leading right now because you got this promotion. People think you didn't deserve it. People think you're too young. People think you're too old. People think there's other people better than you. You just come into this organization. You don't know. You can pray, God, just magnify me in the eyes of these people, just like he did for Joshua, right? It's just a little prayer point you can stick in there. Ask him to magnify you the way that he magnified Joshua in front of Israel, guys. I'm not going to be long today. I just want to drop the little nugget and that spiritual principle, and then you could ask for God to magnify you in people's eyes. All right? I can leave that there, guys. Have a great, great day, and we'll talk again on Friday. Goodbye.